Life is just a bowl of cherries. Don't take it serious. You work, you save, you worry so, but you thirst for the good life. Drink it and let it flow. Life is just a bowl of cherries.
The taste of cherry Coke and Diet Cherry Coke. Because you're only young forever.
So live and laugh at it all.
Yeah.
Life is just a bowl of cherries. Don't take it serious. You work, you save, you worry so, but you thirst for the good life. Drink it and let it flow. Life is just a bowl of cherries.
The taste of cherry Coke and Diet Cherry Coke. Because you're only young forever.
So live and laugh at it all.
At 1427 South Village Way, 1 block south of McFadden Avenue at the 55 freeway, next to Office Club in the new McFadden Plaza.
Seeing is believing.
You think you're a pretty good shot, do you? Well, the boys at the Orange County News Channel, they want to know. See, they're fixing to stage the first annual video shootout.
When developing any marketing campaign for the Orange County Fair or any event, I think we like to have a mix of the media. I think that OCN has really added a plus to the type of marketing that we're doing for the Orange County Fair. Working with OCN has been a real favorable relationship with the Orange County Fair. I think with the extra push that we've had from OCN for a number of reasons, through the news coverage as well as the commercial spots that we run on OCN.
The Orange County News Channel. Call us. We'll make you a believer.
Tonight's Sports Talk is brought to you by Phelps. Value price clothing. Quality has never been so affordable.
Tonight's Sports Talk brought to you in part by College Prospects of America, the world's largest athletic scouting service.
This is Orange County Sports Talk, the only live TV call-in show focusing on sports in and around Orange County. For the next 30 minutes, we'll talk with the people making sports news.
Let's go!
The number for Orange County Sports Talk is 835-1316.
And hello, everybody. I'm John Overall. It's our Friday night edition of Orange County Sports Talk. And after watching the show this weekend, you might want to head down to the beach and try your hand at skimboarding, because that's the topic of tonight's show. We'll talk with a couple of professional skimboarders, or actually Brad Dickey is a pro skimboarder, and his partner tonight, Tex Haines from Laguna Beach, is a sponsor of some tournaments. I guess they're called skimboard tournaments. We'll find out from him a little bit later. But first, let's get you caught up on what's going on in the major leagues. The Angels at home tonight against the Toronto Blue Jays. The Angels riding a 2-game win streak. And this one, definitely a marquee pitching matchup. Chuck Finley taking on Dave Steve of the Blue Jays. Let's check out some of the highlights of this one. Both hurlers were tough in the early inning. Chuck Finley getting Kelly Gruber for the first out of the second inning. But Finley would experience some slight control problems later on in that inning. He walks Manny Lee with the bases loaded to score Pat Tabler, and the Blue Jays take a 1-0 lead over the Angels in that inning. Angels would get some defense from their infield also. Gary Gaetti goes to Rene Gonzalez, to Alvin Davis for the 5-4-3 double play. The Angels tied it up in the fourth. Hubie Brooks with a home run in the fourth inning, his 5th of the season. And that sparked the Angels, because right now, late in the contest, the Angels lead the Blue Jays by a score of 4-1. We will get you the final score of that one before we close out our program this evening. Moving on to the National League, the Dodgers at the Mets in New York, and a long rain delay before they finally got this one finished. The Dodgers didn't need another day off, that's for sure. They missed too many with the riots up in L.A. Let's check out the highlights from Shea Stadium. And second inning, Eric Davis on second base after a stolen base. Carlos Hernandez will cash him in with this single right up the middle. Dodgers take a 1-0 lead over the Mets early on. Orel Hershiser pitched a great 5 innings. Despite the rain delay and the cold weather there, he allowed just 1 hit through 5 innings. Here, he fans Dave Magadan, who had that long walk back to the dugout. 6th inning, Mitch Webster tags one to deep center field. Howard Johnson back on it. He will get a glove on the ball, but he can't squeeze it. It falls for a triple for Webster. Lenny Harris scores all the way from first on the play, and the Dodgers take a 2-0 lead. Let's go to the bottom of the 6th now. The Mets threaten with runners on first and third, but former Dodger Eddie Murray strikes out against Kevin Gross to end that rally. But then the wheels fall off for the Dodger bullpen. Bottom of the 8th, the Dodger bullpen will blow it. Roger McDowell walks Todd Hundley with the bases loaded. That allows Bobby Bonilla to score the tying run. It is now 3-3 in New York. Dodgers and Mets tied at 3 in the 9th inning, and once again, we will update that score for you before we close out our program. Switching now to local community college baseball action. The first round of the state playoffs began this afternoon with Rancho Santiago College, the only Orange County team playing locally, hosting Palomar in the first game of a 3-game series. And let's check out the highlights from Santa Ana. Rancho Santiago College and the Palomar fans looking a little bit worried. They had reason to be, because the hot pass from Rancho Santiago today. Bottom of the 2nd, RSC already up 5-0. Robin Lindsay singles over the drawn-in infield. That will score Octavio Medina. Dons lead at 6-0. Later in the 2nd, 2 outs, David Gonzalez with the double to right center field. That would score Lindsay. It would also bring home Steve Thobe. Rancho Santiago goes up by a 9-0 count, and it's still only the 2nd inning. And the Dons' Derek Brown keeps that inning going. Coming up right here with a double down the right field line. That scores Gonzalez to make it 10-0. In all, Rancho Santiago scores 11 runs on 9 hits in the 2nd inning alone. The Dons go on to win it in a rout. Final score there, 17-2. Rancho Santiago with 21 hits on the afternoon. So the same two teams will meet again Saturday afternoon at 11 o'clock at Rancho Santiago College. And if the Dons win that one, they wrap up the series. However, if Palomar wins the game 2, they will play a doubleheader Saturday to determine the overall winner of that series. And finally, to skimboarding. This is a great sport, very exciting sport taking place along the beach right now. It's an up-and-coming sport. They used to do it just straight ahead, but as you take a look at this story, you'll see that it's a lot more exciting these days. Orange County beachgoers have been skimming along the shoreline since the early 1920s, but skimboarding has undergone a major change since the early days.
Way back then, when everybody first started skimboarding, nobody really thought about riding waves.
Now skimmers not only think about waves, they attack them.
It's, to me, the last underground sport in the water. There's not too many people that do it. It's basically done so close to shore. People see it all the time, but they still ask you what it is.
A lot of people think skimboarding is kind of like a sissy sport. You're not a surfer, you know, or you don't deal with the bigger surf. But when it comes down to it, you get into some pretty big shore break. It takes a lot of guts and a lot of heart to do it.
It takes much more than guts and heart to be a good skimmer. First and foremost, one has to have good wave knowledge. Skimming has become so much like surfing, it's common for people to do both sports.
A lot of people that skim also surf, and they'll spend more time skimming when it's good than surfing, because there is a definite rush to this when you get a good day.
That rush can also lead to cash. Professional skimboarders can earn up to $1,000 per contest, but the average first prize take is usually closer to $300. The pros would like to see the sport and the prize money grow, but then again, they don't want skimming to get too popular.
Yeah, a lot more skimmers in the water and a lot more people to deal with, and that wouldn't be so happening now.
It's a tough choice for pro skimmers: hassle the crowds and make more money, or keep the sport to themselves and make less. In Laguna Beach, John Overall, OCN Sports. And from Laguna Beach back here to our studios in Santa Ana, you met Brad in the story, Brad Dickey from Huntington Beach. This is Tex Haines. We didn't see you in the story, and I said I didn't know if you were a pro skimboarder or not. Yeah. Explain exactly your affiliation with the sport.
Well, I'm nearly 40, so I'm on the retiring side of a pro skimmer.
The senior division.
Yeah, the younger generation is pushing us right out of the scene pretty quick.
But you still compete?
Yeah, in the Santa Cruz contest, I usually go up there for that. And the Victoria is our contest, so I try not to participate in that other than run it.
Explain exactly what the Victoria is.
It's the 16th annual contest this year, June 19, 20, 21 at Aliso Beach. And it brings in about 100 to 120 skimboarders from all over the United States. There's a crew, 10, 12 guys from Hawaii, 15 from Santa Cruz. There's a Newport contingent and an East Coast contingent from Delaware and from Virginia.
And this is a pro tournament, a pro event?
Yeah, pro and amateur. We have about maybe 30 of the pros, and the rest is amateurs.
And everybody's competing for how much money?
Almost nothing, usually.
Just
perhaps $400, $500 for first place in the pros. And the amateurs win prizes donated by local sponsors.
Now, Brad, you're a pro. You'll be going for some of that money. We heard you in the story talk a bit about how you'd like to see more money, but then again, you don't want all the people doing the same sport that you're doing. Where do you weigh? What side of the fence are you going to be on tonight?
I'd have to stick with the same side I was on in the earlier interview, was keeping the sport young, keeping it real low-key and not having a whole lot of people involved in it yet, for me. I'd like to stay right there.
You're not intrigued by winning more money at these events? You'd rather just keep it to yourself?
I am and I'm not. I'm torn. I'm very torn with this idea right here.
Okay, let's invite our viewers now to take part in our program. You can give us a call up until about 10:30. 835-1316 is our phone number. And the first guy to call is Bob from Huntington Beach. Go ahead. You're on Orange County Sports Talk.
Yeah, Brad, is it like, I have two more questions, but is it like a total rush, hit off the lip, and then like, do you get a lot of girls too?
Yeah, it's a full rush. I mean, skimming all around is very athletic, and it's a full rush hit and lip. And, you know, the girls come and they go. It just depends on you.
Let's talk a little bit about the evolution of the sport. Years ago, I saw the old round plywood boards, and then people used to just skim along the thin layer of water and just go straight. But nowadays, these guys are doing some pretty remarkable things.
Yeah. The footage you just saw was kind of in between what it was in the past and what it can be on a really good day. It was just sliding on the flat beaches and doing spinners and pretty tame. Fun for the little kids, but not much to do at the upper level.
Let's take a look at some more of the footage that we've got that you supplied us with. There's a little bit bigger waves, and you can really illustrate exactly what these guys can do nowadays.
The fear factor goes up a lot. These are
actually, this is the same type of day. That was we caught Brad. This is Brad doing it. So Brad, talk a little bit more about your style and what it is you're looking for before we get into the bigger waves.
Well, my style basically is I'm a better deep water skimboarder. In other words, I travel further out into water and catch waves that are further out, where a lot of waves a lot of places break right on shore. That isn't really my style, but I can skim that. Most people would be looking for that type of shore break. Basically. Yeah.
Okay. Now, if we can, we'll take a look at some of the bigger waves and talk to us, Tex, a bit about what it takes to ride the bigger waves and maybe some of the dangerous parts of it, because I know these waves are breaking right on the shore.
Well, I was musing about it this morning when Brad mentioned coming on this show, this program, and bobsledding into a trash compactor was kind of a phrase that came to mind. If you don't have any experience, it's nuts, because the wave really slams you to the sand. But once you've been slammed a little bit, you learn a lot of respect for the wave. And
do you learn how to fall and how to protect yourself?
Yeah, you don't get in much trouble, because it's hard enough to get on the board to begin with. And to actually get out to a wave this size, it takes a lot of experience, and you learn to be careful in the process. So it's actually a pretty safe sport.
Now, Brad, if anybody just tuned in right now, they see these guys, it looks like they're actually surfing. How close are the two sports?
I think they're real close. The origins of skimboarding come from surfing, so the two sports are really close in the way that you're riding the wave. The only difference is, I would say, in that footage right there would be that you have a board with a skag, and it's a much larger board with, you know, it's thicker, and you have a board that's flat on the bottom and skagless. And that particular footage.
How do you turn without a skag?
It's rail to rail. It's real tough.
Just got to really crank it.
Yeah, you got to put a lot of pressure on your rails.
Okay, let's go back to the phone lines now. Ed from South Laguna Beach, you're up. Go ahead.
Hello, Tex.
Yeah.
I would like to ask you,
You with us, Ed?
yes, I am. What was the first year you skimboarded in? When did you start this thing?
1960, I think. I was roughly 9 years old, 11 years old, somewhere about then.
That's the date, the year that I graduated from high school.
Okay.
It amazes me that you children can do so much in these waves, because I wanted to do that terribly, but we just didn't do that.
Do you think maybe it was lack of technology back then that the boards wouldn't allow guys
Certainly,
like Ed to
yeah.
go out into the waves?
The wood boards would barely turn off the wave, you know, and you would lose speed and sink. And once we started making foam boards, it opened up a whole new dimension. So it's not really your fault, Ed.
You had the right idea, just not the right equipment. Let's go back to Huntington Beach, and Larry, you're up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I had two questions, one for the skimboarders and one for John. I wanted to know how much a skimboard costs, and I wanted to know, John, what's the first year you skimboarded?
The first year I skimboarded? Actually, I did try skimboarding a long time ago, back in high school days, but it was the plywood deal, and I just fell down a lot, so I don't do it much anymore, but I would like to try it. What about the average cost of a board?
Well, the $50 gets you started on a wood board. You learn to run and jump on it. And after you've mastered that part, you move up to a used foam board for $100 or a new one for around $200.
Okay, and Brad, when did you begin?
About 12 years ago.
And in the 12 years you've been doing it, what's the major change, would you say, in the sport?
The different shapes that they've come out with now. There was a much larger shape when I began skimming, and now it's gone back to more like a narrow surfing type of a shape. And
for a guy like me, I'm 32 years old, I'm pretty athletic, but I don't surf, I don't skimboard. Could I pick this up this late and learn it and be almost as good as these guys?
You'll lose a little skin, but yeah, no problem.
What's it take to be that good?
You'd have to try it several times a week for a summer, and you'd have a lot of it down by the end of summer, no problem.
A lot of dedication.
And some courage, I bet.
Definitely.
You ever get scared?
Occasionally.
That's why we do it.
How do you overcome that?
You get out, you go home and rest up, and come back another day.
Just do it. Okay, we're just going to do a commercial right now. We'll come back, talk more skimboarding after this commercial break. Stay with us.
This single phone number, 714-550-INFO, opens up an infinite number of possibilities for and about Orange County. This is the Orange County Register info line. Your line to whatever you want to know, whenever you want to know it. It's a free service in Orange County. Regular phone rates apply. Ring the Orange County Register info line. Call 714-550-INFO for the Register's info line.
Do you or someone you know have the athletic ability and grades to qualify for college, but are being overlooked by recruiters? Let College Prospects of America open doors to your scholarship opportunities.
You've worked hard to become a college prospect. Now it's time to let the coaches know you're out there. College Prospects, the world's largest scouting service, can be your opening.
For a free evaluation, call 895-0051.
In October of 1987, Crevier BMW moved into the new Santa Ana Auto Mall, becoming the largest BMW dealership in North America. In June of 1988, Crevier became one of the largest BMW dealerships in the world, making Crevier BMW the ideal place for you to make a world-class deal on a world-class car.
Right now, every new 325i convertible comes with tremendous anniversary incentives. Shop now.
Welcome back to Orange County Sports Talk. 835-1316 is the number you want to call if you want to talk about skimboarding, this exciting sport along the coast here in Orange County. A lot of people doing it from Newport Beach down to Laguna Beach and other places as well. We're visiting tonight with Tex Haines of Laguna Beach and also Brad Dickey of Huntington Beach, a couple of pro skimboarders. And we've already talked a bit about the event coming up in June that you will be taking part in. You'll be competing in, and I guess you run it. What about other events that some people can keep their eyes out for?
Good question. There's another contest up in Santa Cruz. There's a major one back in Delaware, Dewey Beach, and one in Virginia. We also have Skim Fest, where we get together once every couple months and just have a skimming session. Any Sunday at Aliso or up in Newport Beach, Balboa Pier, you'll see skimboarders going at it. So.
Oh, all right. So it's not just here in Southern California, but all over.
No, it's really all over. There's contests in Hawaii too. So.
Good enough. Let's go back to the phone lines now, and I believe Anthony is up next. Go ahead. You're on Orange County Sports Talk.
Yeah, hi. I just wanted to comment on how brutal that first skim summer is. First summer I was out there, I broke a bone in my hand and messed up my ankle for a couple months and pulled a couple hamstrings. And it's a lot harder than it looks. I mean, these guys you see right there in front of you are pros. These guys have been doing it for years and years. And it takes a lot of work to get good enough to go down to Aliso where these guys go.
Well, Anthony, you said that your first year, does that lead us to believe that you still compete or still take part in this event?
Yeah, I'm not as hardcore as some of the guys where I go year-round, but in the summer, as soon as it gets warm enough, I go down there and I do my skimming too, and it's a blast. I've never really caught on that much to surfing, but the skimming is just excellent. I love it down there. It's great.
Okay, thanks for your call, Anthony. Cool. And what about the dangers? I mean, what are the most severe injuries that you have suffered? And as you get older, do you become a little bit more cautious?
Yeah, I think you have to be a little more cautious as you get older. You have to know your limits, I think, first off. You really do. If you're going out there and you're just running around going crazy, you're gonna hurt yourself in any sport if you don't know what you're doing. But injury-wise, you have to, for me, injury-wise, I've had a few of them. I didn't know my limits when I was younger. But that's basically about it. I mean, you just have to know your limits. That's about all I can say about that.
Okay, how about you? Any major injuries that you've suffered?
No, not really. You know, bruises all the time and bumped shins and stuff. The lifeguards actually consider it a lot safer than boogie boarding because you don't get out there where you can drown. And they have a lot more problems with guys going over the wave body surfing or boogie boarding than they do with skimming. A lot more problems. So we have a good record so far.
Yeah, would you have to classify yourselves as athletes? A lot of people on these types of sports say, it's more a recreation, it's not a sport. How do you respond to that?
That's splitting hairs. We do it for fun first, so you'd have to call it recreation.
But you have to be athletic to take part. You have to have fitness.
I think my high school coaches would say I wasn't a real great athlete, so a little bit of both.
I think athleticism helps out a lot, without a doubt.
Just from all the running that you do in the way that you have to control your body, I imagine.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to Newport Beach now for our next caller. Go ahead, you're on Orange County Sports Talk.
Hello?
Hello, you're on, go ahead.
This is Chris Bolavina from Newport Beach, and I love you.
Well, we think pretty highly of you, too. Thanks for calling. Our phone number is 835-1316 if you have any calls. This time from Fullerton. Go ahead, you're up next.
Yeah, I was wondering where are some of the more popular places for skimboarding, because I go down to Huntington Beach and it's always real crowded.
Huh.
I like a lot of places up and down the coast. I comb the coast a lot when I'm skimboarding. I would say like Seal Beach is a real good spot. You've got places in Newport Beach. Laguna Beach is probably the mecca. That's it. Right
Why is that?
That's where it originated, and they've just got so many little coves and steep little slopes that it just breaks right on shore constantly.
Now, before the show, Tex, you were saying that the different tides work better for you than they would for a body surfer or a surfer. Explain that.
Well, we like it when the wave breaks close to shore. That's usually on a high tide. If you have a very flat shoreline like Huntington Beach, high tide's about the only time it's going to break close to shore. If you have a steep shoreline like Laguna because of its mountainy terrain, it can be good at low tide and high tide. It all depends on what the basic profile of the beach is. But generally, we like high tides or medium tides, especially tides that are coming in.
Okay. Julie from, we don't know where you're from. Julie, where are you from?
Irvine.
Irvine, go ahead.
I was wondering, is this strictly a sport for guys, or if a girl's athletic enough, do you think that girls can get involved, or is it just too tough a sport?
Well, there's quite a few really good girls involved. They even compete with the guys and beat them at in their own heat. So don't hesitate to get started. It's a lot of fun.
A lot of this video that we just saw, and we'll show some more now, people getting air, they're jumping off their boards and so on and so forth. Does that add for point totals in competitions to do some aerials and stuff like that?
It's more in your style. I mean, it does add on point totals, but I think it's just all in what you want to do on the wave.
How do they judge a competition?
Well, it's a combination. We want to see a well-rounded skimmer. You know, he must be able to go left and right, front side, back side, throw in some aerial, and if you can entertain the judges and the crowd with freestyle maneuvers, then that's all the more to his credit. He has to be able to do it all.
Okay, before we let you get out of here tonight, I know you wanted to talk about the environment and the beach and so on and so forth. We have some video of this one guy, and I don't know what exactly he's doing, but it looks like he's surfing in place, stationary surfing. Explain what we're looking at when we see it, and tell me some of the dangers here.
This is Aliso Creek in Laguna Beach. It builds up behind a wall of sand and overflows and cuts through the bank really quickly and drains out in about a 20-minute period. The problem is that the water's dirty a lot from street runoff, and the guys who like to do it often get skin rashes, eye infections, ear infections, and stuff like that. And we want to encourage people to get involved in community groups and Surfrider Foundation to fight this kind of pollution.
So even though that looks like a lot of fun and stuff, you wouldn't recommend doing it?
No, especially not when it gets down to the end.
Why is that? Just because of the dirt?
That's the sludge and the dirt and stuff, and it really smells rank. It's a lot of fun. It's hard to resist doing it.
And Brad, you've done it, though. How'd you feel afterwards?
Well, I mean, I'm fine afterwards usually, but I mean, in the most part, you don't want to get in there, though. It's not healthy.
Okay, let's step aside now for our final commercial break. When we come back, we'll get a final word from Brad and Tex. Stay with us.
All right.
You know the value of a higher education today. It's almost a necessity. And every day the cost of a good school gets farther and farther out of reach. Yet the fact is that practically all students are eligible for many forms of financial aid, regardless of scholastic achievement or financial need. Every year, over $4 billion in financial aid is available for qualified students. But if you don't know where it is or how to apply for it, it's like throwing good money away. Strategy Planning Associates is your solution. We can find those sources of financial aid for you, guaranteed. For a modest fee, Strategy Planning Associates will provide you with the information you need to obtain financial aid for which you qualify and in your areas of interest. You don't have to give up a quality education at the school of your choice for only the schools you can afford. Strategy Planning Associates is your solution to the cost of higher education. For more information, call today 1-800-300-GRAD. Strategy Planning Associates, building a solid foundation through education.
You want a quality Highline used car. Where would you look? Here's a hint.
Southern Californians are trading in their BMWs, Mercedes, Volvos, and more at America's first and Orange County's #1 Lexus dealer.
Still wanting Tustin Lexus, Sally?
Expect a lot from a Lexus, but expect a little more from Tustin Lexus in the Tustin Auto Center, I-5 Freeway at Jamboree. For 68 years, the Phelps name has meant quality men's clothing. Today, this same Newport Beach clothier gives you something unexpected. Year-round value pricing. The complete selection of quality Phelps clothing and accessories is priced to save you money every time you shop. Tailored suits, trousers, dress shirts, and ties at prices you'll find hard to resist. Phelps, your value-priced store. Quality has never been so affordable. Next to Robinson's at Fashion Island.
Welcome back to the final moments of Orange County Sports Talk. We're wrapping up our Friday night edition of Orange County Sports Talk with skimboarders Brad Dickey and Tex Haines. And we've been talking about all the stuff that happens along the beach, but Tex, you tell me that people do this inland as well. How can they do that?
We sell a lot of skimboards to Scottsdale, Arizona and the Great Lakes. And it's just, because you're running toward the wave, you can have a much smaller thing to turn off of and get all the feeling of carving the water without that large wave. So You have puddle sliding, towed behind cars, freeboarding behind boats, and more than anything else, skimming is just an uncrowded sport. You're not out there jostling elbows with other surfers. Much as I like surfing, I like my peace and quiet too. So.
Good enough. And once again, your event, the Victoria.
Yeah, June 19, 20, 21 at Aliso Beach. That's in Laguna, and it'll be exciting.
Good enough. Tex and Brad, thanks for stopping by. We really appreciate it, and don't break a leg out there.
Hey.
Okay, once again, that's our show. We thank Brad and Tex for stopping by. Should tell you right now that the Angels knocked off Toronto. Final score there 4-1. The Angels have now won 3 straight. Meanwhile, the Mets scored in the 10th inning to beat the Dodgers by a final score of 4-3. And that is our show for this evening. We thank you for stopping by. Remember to join Dave Feldman throughout the weekend for all your local sports.
Tonight's guests on Sports Talk receive a gift certificate to Phelps, your value-priced clothing store. Fashion Island, Newport Beach.
Pontiac is the right American car to buy from your Orange County Pontiac dealers.
You'll fall in love with the new 92 Grand Am with anti-lock brakes as standard equipment.
Voted Best Buy by Consumers Digest.
Over 1 million people drive a Grand Am. Why not you?
Check the special incentives in low financing today.
Visit the Pontiac dealer nearest you.
Anaheim,
Buena Park,
University,
David J. Phillips,
McLean,
and Bob Longpree.
Buy American. Buy Pontiac.
Buy in Orange County.
Buying or selling a home can be a very